Lauren from Limber Sports Performance. I'm a professional acrobat, and today I'm going to be going through some of my favourite stop Pilates exercise to warm up the shoulders before I go and train in the air. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. Alright, we're going to start with some back rowing, round back. So I'm going to face the back of the reformer and carefully bring my legs around. I've got one spring on, which works quite well for me, and I just need to leave a little bit of space at the back of the reformer because I'm going to roll my tailbone back at the beginning of the exercise. So I'm going to grab my straps here. I've checked they're the same length. I start with my arms in front, just below shoulder height, elbows slightly bent, just to really have a nice relaxed shoulder position before I begin. So inhale to prepare, I'm going to exhale, roll back, scooping through the tummy to roll back through the tailbone. Inhale, open the arms, and exhale, reach them back as I curl forward. Watching that I'm not overly flexing through the neck here. Inhale, start to circle. Exhale, reach all the way in front. Inhale, restack the spine. So I'm just going to do a few more repetitions of this one. There we go, really good. So you can do about 6 repetitions of this one. Now I'm going to transition to the knees, still facing the back of the reformer, and I'm going to do some chest expansion. This time I'm going to grab the straps just near the ropes. And before I start with this one, I really need to switch on my abdominals, my glutes and my hammies, so I make sure I keep my neutral pelvis during the exercise. If you haven't done this before, you might want to get your instructor to spot you, or be very careful as you start because the springs aren't super strong, so you don't want to lose your balance. So in this exercise, I'm going to exhale to start pulling the straps. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back to the center. Inhale, release. So the challenge of this exercise is to check that I can freely move my head while maintaining that shoulder extension. So you don't want to be taking the tension of the exercise up into the neck. Great, there you go. And there's obviously more variations of some of these exercises, but I'm just showing you a few of my favorites. Now I'm going to transition through to the other side to face the front of the reformer. And I'm going to do front rowing number 1, arm circles. So again, grab my straps. Here we want to start sitting right up in neutral spine and pelvis. So if for you it's hard to get that position nice and tall, you can always pad yourself up sitting on a little foam cushion, or just slightly flex off the knees so you can get right on top of those sit bones. But I'm sure for most of you aerialists, you're quite flexible, so you shouldn't have any trouble sitting nice and upright. So I'm going to start in here. I'm going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, turn the thumbs down. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, circle around. Keeping my arms just slightly in my periphery as I circle them around. I'm going to transition to the knees while I'm facing the front of the reformer. Careful again because the spring is not super heavy on the bed. Now I'm doing my reverse expansion. Quite simple, just a 2-breath pattern. Exhale, reach. Inhale, return. And again, keeping those glutes and abs on strong to keep the body upright. So already I'm starting to feel my shoulders nice and warm, and I can really feel the stabilizers starting to warm up, which is great. Now I'm going to change to the side arm series. For this one, I like to lighten the spring to a half for me because I'm going to be doing some rotator cuff exercises, and they are small muscles, so they really just do need a light load to strengthen them. I'm going to start with external rotation, and I'm sure you've all done these before, or your physio's given them to you as a great injury prevention exercise. And you can do them, of course, with a TheraBand or lying on your side with a hand weight, but if you're lucky enough to have access to a reformer, I really enjoy to do them on the reformer. With any of these exercises, if you do forget the breath pattern, it's always safe to go back to exhale on effort. And that usually often gives you a good clue of what breathing is recommended. Good. I'm just doing about 10 because I'm doing a few exercises in the series. And as I said, I want to activate the deep stabilizers. I don't want to fatigue them before I go and do the rest of my training. Now I've just moved slightly out from the headrest to get the resistance that I'm after now for the internal rotation. Hopefully that you can see I'm keeping my wrists nice and long in these exercises. Keeping my elbow right under my shoulder near the side of the body. And hopefully I'm keeping my shoulders level. I do notice when I'm teaching this exercise sometimes, or exercises in this series, that people might often dip or lift the side of the resistance. So when you do have access to a mirror, it's always good to check your shoulder posture in the mirror. Good, next I'm going to swap again. I've given this shoulder a little rest, and I'm going to do some backhand with rotation. So I'll do a couple of reps to show you first without the rotation, so just keeping square to the front, and I'm opening my arm here. It's almost like that backhand tennis serve action. It's just adding a little bit more difficulty than your regular external rotation exercise. Now if I'm adding rotation now, I keep my hips to the front, but I rotate the torso in the start position. And then as I pull the strap, I rotate slightly the other way. So it's not a huge movement, just some spiraling through the thoracic and up. Good. And the next one, to finish off this side series, I'm going to do Hug the Moon. Yeah. So before all the shoulder exercises, I always try and give a second just to be tall through the sternum, but relax the shoulders down. So I start with a really nice scapular position. Great, let's try those on the other side. So carefully coming around. I'll start with the external rotation again. Great, now for the internal rotation, I gently come out a little bit. Good, backhand with rotation, so hips to the front, starting slightly spiraled and turning the other way. Think about the control as you're returning each side. Alright, hug the moon. So if any of you also know that you tend to flare a bit through the ribs, you might want to think about in these kneeling series just keeping a little bit more connection in the upper abdominals as well. But the main focus is we want to always set the shoulders and the scapula before we start. So I really love this series on the reformer because I get to warm up my shoulder range of motion while also working on the stability with a really light resistance. And I find that strengthening my shoulders on the reformer is a great way to be strong without bulking up, which is sort of more inclined when you're using heavier weights at the gym and those type of workouts. So I hope you have got something out of this today.